Princess Anari of the Velthari Dominion had hunted beasts on 6 worlds. She had killed dune wyerms from a skiff, brought down storm elk with a gravity bow, and once posed beside a marrow lion while 3 moons burned over the palace glass. So when a human diplomat made the mistake of admiring her ceremonial spear, she smiled before the court and offered him a challenge designed to humiliate him in legend: a royal hunt on Karis, her ancestral moon, where only bloodied Velthari nobles were allowed to pursue the moonstag, the most elusive predator on any charted map. A creature of crystal fur, knife antlers, and ghost-like speed. The court laughed when the human accepted, because Elias Vance arrived wearing plain field gear. No jeweled armor, no hunting drones, no ornamental weapon, only a weathered cloak and a knife at his belt. The contrast amused everyone except Anari, who disliked the stillness in his eyes. She lifted her spear, named the terms. Whoever found the moonstag first would claim the night, and the loser would kneel and acknowledge the greater hunter. The human looked toward the violet forest below the palace ridge, listened to the metallic wind moving through the crystal leaves, and answered so quietly that the room had to lean in to hear it. "Be careful, Your Highness. Some hunts turn around." And suddenly, the laughter sounded thinner. The hunt began under split moons and cold blue mist. Inari went first with all the confidence of royal blood. Her hounds ran ahead. Her trackers floated in a silver fan around her shoulders. Her escorts spread through the trees in perfect formation. She moved fast because speed had always won her trophies. The forest glowed around her, roots like coiled cables, bark streaked with living light, fog drifting low enough to hide a wounded predator or an open ravine. Her scanners found broken moss, charged hair, heat ghosts, signs that the moonstag was moving downhill, always downhill. Deeper into the Red Valley, where the old hunters said even sound could be lured into the wrong direction. Anari followed without hesitation. But the human did something insulting. He knelt at the starting line, touched the soil, examined bent grass, studied the canopy, then walked away from the clean projected trail and into the darker trees, alone, no drones, no hounds, no performance, just attention. And that tiny act stayed with her like a thorn under skin, because confidence is loud, but instinct is quieter. And often right, the forest narrowed, the noise of night creatures faded. And before long, she saw something impossible in the mud beside moonstag tracks. Human boot prints, ahead of her, calm, evenly spaced, never rushed. As if Vance had predicted not only where the beast would run, but where she would choose to follow. And that was the first moment the hunt stopped feeling ceremonial. For the next hour, the moon itself seemed to rearrange around her. One hound refused a ledge and whimpered until a chunk of rock broke away into darkness. A drone clipped an invisible fiber web and spun dead into a thorn nest. One escort cursed over comes after sliding into a trench masked by flowering mist. None killed, all delayed, all separated. All exactly where pride would have carried them. Anari slowed, furious at herself for slowing, and then she heard the human's voice from somewhere behind and above. Calm, unhurried, too close. Your Highness, I found you once at the ridge, twice at the hollow root, and now here. She spun with her spear ready and saw nothing but trees and glowing rain. Then the voice came again from her left. Humans did not become dangerous because we were strongest. We became dangerous because we noticed patterns before others noticed they are being studied. Anger turned to cold focus. She began reading the forest instead of charging through it. And what she saw made her blood run colder. Small warnings had been left for her. A thorn vine cut where it could have pierced her throat. A stone rotated to reveal safer footing. A pulse flare marking a predator nest she had nearly walked into. Vance was not merely tracking her. He was shaping her path, protecting her from the moon while proving he could have abandoned her to it at any moment. And when she finally reached the gorge center beneath an obsidian arch, the moonstag stood there in silver brilliance. Steaming in the night, beautiful enough to stop thought, Inari raised her spear, her whole body tightening for the throw. And in that same instant, a knife touched the side of her throat from behind, light as breath, precise as truth. "If I wanted the story to end badly," Vance whispered. "It already would have." Inari froze. The moonstag, watching with ancient bright eyes. The court, the throne, the old stories, all of it felt impossibly distant. What remained was simple and brutal. The human had entered alien wilderness, ignored the machines, read the land faster than royal implants, outpaced trained hunters, neutralized escorts without bloodshed, reached the prey, then reached the princess, and done it so completely that she never sensed the final approach. After a long moment, Elias Vance stepped into view, withdrew the knife, and offered her its handle first. Not as a victor flaunting power, but as one hunter acknowledging another had learned something costly. "You were hunting an animal," he said. "I was hunting the hunter, because on my world, survival means assuming you are never the only thing tracking." Inari lowered her spear, not from defeat, but from understanding. "Why spare me?" she asked, and Vance glanced toward the crystal fog where the moonstag had begun to fade. "Because a kill teaches fear," he said, "but a lesson changes empires." Together they watched the creature vanish soundlessly into the trees. Neither moved to chase it. The true quarry had been found. And when they returned to the palace at dawn without a trophy, the court waited for mockery, for excuses, for royal anger. Instead, Princess Inari stood before the throne and spoke with a steadiness no one had heard in her before. "I challenged a human to a hunt, and learned too late that humans do not enter a wilderness as guests. They listen, they adapt, they disappear into it. And when they decide to follow you, the question is never whether they can catch you. The question is how long they have been behind your shoulder, and whether they chose mercy when they arrived."